Hi, Jessica. Thank you so much for taking your valuable time out and coming to this show. I really appreciate it. So, how are you doing today?
So fantastic. I appreciate the opportunity. Oh my goodness. This is so exciting.
You're most welcome. Yeah, we talked the other day. Obviously, we talked a little bit about how you've been doing, how we get into like life coaching. But I'm really, really curious and interested learn more about you and how you've been helping others achieving their goals. So yeah, without further ado, we're gonna get started. So tell me about how you get started with the life coaching. What led you to choose life coaching? And tell us where you used to be before you're doing life coach.
Yeah. So my background is in interior design and architecture. So I knew I would always design something.
Yeah.
I just didn't know it would be in this form. So I
Mm,
knew even when I was 7 that I was
yeah.
going to be a designer. And I
Right.
did go into that from the commercial aspect, but
Mm,
God kind of tugged at my heart. He was like, "Okay, I know you've been wanting to do this, but I have something better for you. I have
yeah.
something that's going to suit you more and actually impact lives positively on a completely different scale."
Mm.
So obviously, as we humans do, I don't want to say obviously, I should take that back. I
Yeah.
argued. I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to get off course of what I knew I was going to be doing since I was itty bitty, but he knows better.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there was a lot of shifts and twists and turns, and 15 years later, here we are as a life coach instead of a designer. So it's designing in completely different capacity.
Yeah. Yeah. So you had interior design career. So obviously you told us like how you get into it. But what's the mindset shift? Like what made you realize like this is the career not for me? Because I can tell about myself. Like I qualified primary school teacher and I worked there for like 6 months. And after that, I realized this is not something I want to be. Like I don't want to be employed by someone. I want to like teach people in a different format. But love children, love kids. But I didn't want to go into like working for someone who's gonna tell me what to do or not to do. I don't wanna go into that. So I found out like this is not something I really enjoy. So I wanna know like what made you realize the interior design career is not for me? What's the inner call for you? How did you find out?
I wanted to make a larger impact.
Mm,
There's a degree of an impact that I felt I could make as a designer,
yeah,
but it wasn't a deep impact. It wasn't a life changing, a life altering impact for people. Yes, I could make a comfortable space. Yes, I can go with some, codes and make things safe,
yeah,
but so can a lot of other people. And
yeah.
my journey has served so many other people. It's been incredible.
So like you go into the career or like you just finished your degree and go into coaching?
I did finish the degree.
Mhm.
I was at a firm, and it was again to that calling. It was like, okay, you need to do something different. And I
Yeah.
didn't want to do anything different because it was uncomfortable.
Mm,
I didn't see this as the solution,
yeah.
but lo and behold, it's the right fit.
Yeah, definitely. So sometime we have to take the leap and go for like what we meant to be doing rather than like waiting for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like today we wanted to talk about identity design from interior design to pull your mind into in identity design. So what do you mean by identity design? Can
Mhm.
you tell us a little bit more about it?
I help people define their purpose. I help
Yeah.
people find who they are, what they want to do with their lives, because I find that so many people have a dream in their heart,
Mm,
but they've left it on the table long ago because they're just stuck in this race, the
yeah.
rat race, if you will, of the daily tasks, and they don't see how they can get from point A to point B.
Yeah.
So I help them not only identify who they are, but identify that purpose, and I help them basically give them the steps to do it,
Mhm.
right? So a lot of people are just missing the how.
Yeah.
Like, how do I get there?
So like, how's the process like? Do you find when you work with your clients, do you actually find they actually knows what they want, or do you have to go through plan and process and find them like what they actually really want and testing different things? How
Good
do you
question.
find out? Yeah.
Both. Some people have such an aching desire in their heart and it's been in there for a long time and they're just ready to run.
Yeah.
And some people, it's been in there, but yet it's so faded that
Mm,
they didn't realize that it was still tugging at them.
yeah.
So I help people from both standpoint and in between, right?
Yeah. So like, what type of like clients you work with at the moment? They're like a business person, or like coaches, consultant, or like a normal person, like a who got career, was staying home mom, parents. Who do you actually work with?
All of the above. So I've had
Yeah.
CEOs, I've had the stay at home moms, I've had the entrepreneurs.
Mm,
So it is simply, it's a readiness type more so than a profession. Or,
yeah.
because here's the thing, a lot of CEOs that I work with, their identity is wrapped up in who they are at work.
Yeah.
But who are you really? Who's your core? If you were to leave that position, who are you going to be? And I
Yeah.
have CEOs that are transitioning, or even moms now with an empty nest that
Yeah.
are transitioning, but their identity is wrapped up in being that mom. So it's like, but now is your time. Now is your time to do what you want. Where's that dream? Let's dig it back up.
Yeah. So do you find it like it's easier to work with the CEO of the company, like entrepreneur, or working with stay-home mom, or like a career-oriented? Which do you think would be easier, or like both struggling to find out identity in themselves?
When you get to the core of people, it's all the same. We all
The
have
same.
fears. We all have some sort of mindset
Mm,
trap, I'll call it. It's a paradigm. It's this old habitual way of thinking that gets you off track. So at the end of the day, we're just human, regardless of this title that society has put on us as stay-at-home mom versus entrepreneur versus CEO. Like, I
yeah.
help people get to the core of who they are, because I had to get to the core of who I am.
Yeah.
Even like with medical things that have happened in the past, it's around the core of me. Even with businesses that I've owned, it's the core of me.
Yeah.
So it's nothing to
It's,
do with
it's
the title.
yeah. It's different for different individual, right?
Mhm.
So each individual have like their different opinions and different way to think about their life. Someone to call themselves an entrepreneur, but they're doing so many other things, giving charity, helping in the community, doing political things. So
Yeah.
yeah, and some people like want to be called so many things. Like I want to call myself entrepreneur, investor, and probably now podcaster. So
Yes,
life
so
leads to one and
true.
another. And now recently becoming dad. So
Yes.
husband, dad as well. So identity, I think, is a different way, like how people differentiate themselves, and it's a
Yeah.
individual thing. So in terms of
Oh,
like
very
a,
much.
yeah, in terms of like a yourself, how do you describe yourself, your identity, and when did you find out yourself? Like this is me. This is why I need to be doing.
Yeah. Well, I always dig in. I keep digging deeper every day. So it's definitely a work in progress. There wasn't like an aha moment, you
Yeah,
know? But and back to what you were saying, yes, we wear many hats, but it's the core of who we are.
yeah,
So the core of who I am is I'm an encourager, I'm an achiever, I'm
mm,
persistent, I'm driven. So many different attributes, a listener, a space holder.
yeah,
There's so many different, back to the hats, so many different titles we give ourselves, like you, dad,
yeah,
entrepreneur, podcaster, finance, like so many things. But there's a core of you that's never going to shift, and that you're going to take that core in every position. that you
Yeah.
have.
Yeah, still trying to find out the identity myself. Like, I know I'm doing businesses, I know I'm investing, I know being a husband, I know being a dad, but I want people knowing me for something else. And I don't know how to call it. Like, I want to make impact in people's life. So I don't want to call myself as a life coach either. I'm not a motivational speaker, but I think it's specifically, so still trying to figuring out who I am. But I know this is a journey. That's why rather than me creating, I'm just building. So building, learning from each other, like, you as a guest on this podcast, learning from you. So all of our guests in future, they're coming, and past I did, learning from each other all the time, doing business with the person, learning from them. I'm learning from my little boy as well, how his brain works, how he's processing things. So many ways to find out like who we are. And I think it's not like a one day process on finding out. It's a lifelong thing, even though people I see and talk to 60 years old, 70 years old, 80 years old, and they don't even know who they are, even though they retired from themselves, still figuring out who am I, why I need to be doing with their life.
Yeah.
They waste their money, they waste their time. They're sometimes watching a TV in the 60s and just retire. And I think like you got so many opportunity to do or contribute in some way or another. Some people do with the money, some people with the voice, some people help the community, society. Some people couldn't find out like who they are, what they need to be doing. And I think it's most important thing like you working on this topic, like identify like your life, like who you are, what you need to be doing, and design it. And coming to your point, do you think like we are in control of designing our identity, who we are, or like we are born with it?
Little both.
Both. Can you explain a little bit? I'm
Yeah.
curious to know that.
I know, right? I feel like everyone has their own, I'm going to call them nuggets that they were born with to share, their own abilities. So, yes, when we're born, our subconscious mind is wide open. So, it's going to take in whatever's around us.
Yeah.
But I do believe we do have innate abilities that strengthen us as an individual. And then as we grow up, that subconscious mind takes in whatever's around us. But then as we get to, start being an elementary age kid, middle school, things of that nature, growing up in school, the conscious mind starts to form, and then you can make those choices.
Yeah.
So then it goes back to what were my foundations as a kid?
Yeah.
What were the truths I was told? What are some lies that I was told? And it's getting rid of some of those lies, those old habitual ways of thinking that aren't serving you, that shadow the natural abilities, that shadow that natural talent and those dreams. And I feel like, too, it's so fun to watch people go after their purpose.
Yeah.
First of all, define it, but then go after it because you see them light up. And when we dig into the core of it, it goes back to childhood. It goes back to prior to them ever educating themselves.
Yeah.
But that's why I feel like, to a degree, we're born with it.
Yeah.
Do I have proof? No. Belief? Yeah.
Yeah, interesting point. For me, like I'm in a similar situation, but still trying to figure it out. Like I said, I'm still learning on this thing. Like I think myself, I was born with like ability to do business because I don't like people telling me off on if I'm working for some kind of job. I wouldn't love it. I wouldn't wake up in the morning, even though it's a Monday morning or Thursday morning or Friday morning. Still, I feel like I'm in a kind of jail because I worked for people about 3.5 years of my life, age between 16 to 19. When I first started my business with 19, that was like a restaurant business with my brother. And this is it. So I realized like this is not something I can do. This is not my identity, like being an employee and working in a job. And then become a teacher on the side. Like I thought this is not going to be a job, it could be fun. I was 22, I got a job, 6 months I'm in, I realized still again, same environment, even though it doesn't feel like a job, then there is a policies there, there's procedures there, there is someone above you, there is a deputy head teacher, there is a board members. I like this is not something I want to do. Even though I don't want to be in a corporate ladder, I don't want to be big corporation. I don't want to build a big business on $1 billion and hire like an investor and bringing on investor and they'll be managing me and I could be the CEO, I could be the founder, but eventually someone's going to tell me what to do or not to do. I'd rather build $1 million business and I'm happy with it because I got my own freedom. Sometimes I want to work, sometimes I don't want to work, sometimes decisions need to be changed and I take the responsibility.
Yeah.
So finding out who am I from the early age, I realized this is me, this is who I wanted to be. I
So
want to
what
be.
were some things that you found as your independence as a kid?
As a kid, my life was different, I'll say, because I was introvert on an early age. At the beginning, I was extrovert, like age between 3 to 6. Then I don't know what happened. I just got really early stage of my life, like in a primary school. Teachers used to bully me because I was overweight. So I'm originally from Bangladesh. So there is no policing procedure. Like teachers can do whatever they want. There's a stick, they can hit you and abuse you. It doesn't really matter. And then there's a kids used to bully me because I was overweight. No one wants to be friends with me. So first 1 or 2 years, I had a like really difficult time. And from being an extrovert, I'm turning into myself introvert. And I was eating junk food and everything, being home. I don't want to be around with people, even though family members, I'm going to hide in a different room. I don't want to be with anyone. But age 9 and 10, I'll say significantly things changed because that time my dad had a first time. He had a kidney failure and then he had to operate it and everything. So that time we had a bonding with my dad because before that, like he's always busy because he had a restaurant business. So he used to get out 5 in the morning and he used to drop me off and pick me up from school. And in between we have a lunch and dinner. But there it wasn't like he's spending 5 hours or 10 hours that day. But when he diagnosed with a kidney failure and things like that, he's mostly at home, only doctor appointments other than his home resting. So that time, like he's giving me lesson because he's like investor, he's a business person. He did business about his restaurant 45 years, I think. He was like 20 something and he did his business in 1960, 65, around then when he started. So he knows about business. So he always used to tell me like, get your education, get a degree, be wherever you want to be, doctors, engineer, could be even the school teacher. Do something because he wasn't educated. He maximum did about year 5. This is the maximum. He went to school. So yeah, then after that, like I wanted to go on my education path, and this is my mindset. And he used to tell me like, do business, make sure you do business, make whatever money you want, or you can do free education, like teach other people for free, or give medication, or like being a doctor for free without any service charge, and do business on the side. So he used to teach me and everything on the time, and he's like my first best friend, to be honest, on that time. Then he was getting better after like another year. He diagnosed with a lung cancer. I was around 10 and a half years old. No, probably 11. I'm not exactly can't remember. I was inducted in 2007. I think. Yeah. So yeah, he had a lung cancer. Again, that time we built a massive house in Bangladesh because that was my dad's dream. And we were going through a lot of process, moving and going forward. And then there was no anyone to actually look after at the beginning to my dad. And then me, my mom, my dad, my elder sister. So we four sisters and one brother, my elder brother. So one sister is there, so she has to look after in a way. But I had to do majority of them things like going to doctors with him, giving medication, even though age 11, I guess, medication, looking after businesses. So obviously I can do most of them things. So we had like a transfer business. So weekly we do like the accounting and everything. So I used to do that. I'm going to the restaurant and check out everything is going on, right? Banking, shopping for a house, and maintaining the whole household. So yeah, from there started learning a little bit about business and things. Then he passed away in 2009 in January, like after 1.5 years. I was around 13. I was 13 years old. And then my mom passed away just day before my birthday, which was in 90 days. My dad passed away. So my dad passed away in January. My mom passed away in April 8th, and next day my birthday, which is 9th. So yeah, it's a traumatic moment. Then I lived there for next 2 years on my own. At the beginning, I moved to like one of my brother-in-law's house for 3 months, and I was happy about it. I was in game of freedom and everything. But they was really nice people. But my school was in a different town, and they live in a different town. So I had to come back for my exams and things like that because I'm homeschooled that time. And I wasn't enjoying being there all the time. So, and running them businesses wasn't easy because that time's still going on. So yeah, then I started doing some investing in a stock market to pass my time. So start making some little money here and there because I knew which of the medical products sells well, because I know the medication my dad used to buy for his cancer treatment. So I knew this is the kind of things is not going down because we are seeing the highest rise for cancer patient in Bangladesh that time. So I was investing on it. I put my pocket money in it. I 5 times it. So I bought my first. My sister gave me my first laptop from UK, and that one of my nephew used it, and they went to vacation. He used it. I don't know. Well, virus came through, and that was proper damage. So when I got the laptop after they went, I couldn't do much about it. So I just realized, okay, just sell the leftover money. I'm gonna buy it, but I don't want to use my dad money and leave it. I just want to do the stock investing and find some money. So yeah, I made about £700 worth. That's 70,000 takas in Bangladesh worth money. So yeah, after that, I started bought my PC. I built it myself and everything. Learned how to do web design. Learned how to do editing, Photoshop, and things like that. Microsoft Word and Excel. And one of my friends taught me as well a little bit. So I gained some knowledge about IT. And then my brother was sorting out my visa to come UK because there was no one in Bangladesh to look after me at that time, and I was under 18. So there is a way to bring me here. So yeah, this is where I came in the age of 16, and the life wasn't easy because we was like kind of well off for perspective on Bangladesh wise, but when it come to here, I was just proper surprised. I was like, my brother not that well off how I was expected. And I thought initially I'm gonna go college, and that's it. Probably when I'm 20, 21, probably gonna get a job or start business. This is who I am. But my brother's like, no, this is England. It's not gonna be easy. So my first job was, he put me through on the first job being a dishwasher. So I got a job in a restaurant slash takeaway. So I was doing dishwashing, and their boiler and the hot water boiler wasn't working, and it's January time and freezing cold. And I was washing the first time in my life, and my hand was freezing because it's a cold water. And I had to go through this peeling onions. So in the same thumb, I'll keep on cutting the same time over and over. So, and then you're washing dishes after with the cold hand, and you know how it feels. And I quit the job after 2 weeks. I was like, this is not something I come for. And I told my brother, let's do I can do waitery job weekend, but I don't want to do full-time job because I'm going college and my English is not well. So I don't know what am I going to do in college. Like I have to learn because the maths, English, science, English is fine. English is English, but maths is a different way. It's in Bengali, and science is taught us in Bengali as well. So I have to learn the words in here too, if you understand totally. So I was learning phase, and same time I want to learn how to become a dishwasher and cook on a restaurant for 6 days a week. It wasn't something, but I was forced to do the job. There is no way. Mm. And I don't want to share everything in this podcast. I'm going to write everything on a book and probably do another. So yeah, from there, moving forward, I stuck around with the job for 3.5 years. I was like, there is no other thing to do, to be honest. I don't have any money. I don't have any cash because whatever money I make, just giving all to my brother. And I used to live on £10 a week. My pocket money was. So £10 is like going a bus fare from like a one city to another city, like half an hour journey. So it's not much. So I had no option. I had to go through this. I was like, only way I can get out of this situation is like me getting a degree or get the education route and get better paying job. That was the whole plan. I just totally focused on it. And in the same time, there is an opportunity came like I had to leave from this job and going another job. And there is a nice gentleman. He wanted to sell his place, his restaurant. So I was like, I'm gonna eventually do that takeaway and restaurant job. Why do my brother's been looking for a takeaway and restaurant to buy? So I was like, why don't you partner up and start this business while I'm doing my education, being a teacher? So if the business goes well, then we can hire more people in, and I can work part time, and you can run it yourself. And yeah, that's how I started in this business. I did about nearly 4 years with this business. And then I realized this is not something I really wanted to do, even though the school job I didn't want to do. And business, I realized you have to choose the right person who do you business with, especially not with your family members. The biggest lesson I have learned. That's ruins your relationship. And then on the side, I was doing like online marketing and everything. What I learned age of 16, I'm trying to implement a little bit because one of my friend from college he used to tell me he's making 5 grand, 10 grand a month for doing online stuff. I was like, okay, it's not possible. I was like a small minded that time because I was only making £100 a week from the job I was doing on a dishwasher. So I thought like this is not possible because my brother and my all family members are saying only business you can do in this country is like a restaurant and everything. And I don't know why my mind, and I accepted that. And I never thought about it. Like, look, there is a transport business, there is an online business. I didn't know what eBay was, even though 7, 8 years back. I didn't know what Amazon was. I didn't know about YouTube what was. Back in 2013, I didn't know what YouTube was. I found out about YouTube in 2014. Think about it. So because I had no option, I didn't follow any sports or anything for 5, 6 years since I moved to the UK from Bangladesh. So yeah, then I was running the takeaway business and doing this business on the side on a midnight, like when I'm come from home, like I finish your work on a takeaway 11, 12 p.m. 11 to 12 a.m. in the midnight, then take a 1 hour rest, then between 1 a.m. to 6 a.m. in the morning, learning how to do online marketing, reaching out to clients, US clients and everything. Yeah, then build a business now where we are at the moment and living the best life of my life because I met my wife and now we're blessed with a new child. So yeah, journey keep on going.
Yeah. So some things I heard in that, so some of your strengths, definitely independence,
Yeah,
definitely drive and persistence. So I mean, those are in your core,
yeah,
whether you were
definitely.
born with them or not, but they were definitely instilled when you were little. My goodness. And
Yeah,
I definitely see why you respect and appreciate the time
yeah,
freedom
yeah,
because you needed the time freedom to be with
yeah.
your family. So
I
it
was
makes
so
complete sense.
definitely I was so passionate about like a cricket. I used to watch all of them cricket matches and everything. When I was in back home, I used to follow a lot. I knew like every like 10 countries players name and everything. I knew what their career record and everything. But when I moved here and like started watching cricket again 2016, I was like, who them players are? I have no clue. I never watched it from 2011 till 2016. Only thing I used to watch like a once a week, like a movie here and there. And other than that, that's it. There is no other life. I was like a proper focused because I have no other way. I just couldn't. I want to satisfy myself, like it being where I'm there. Like I don't want to live like paycheck to paycheck. This is not who I am. I needed freedom. I don't want like a boss around me. So I was persistent, looking for something to get away. So only first thing was like being a teacher. That's my main focus and main goal. And then I realized this is not something I really want to do. Then I found the next thing, like you said, like a God has a better plan for you, and you don't know that time. So 10 years back, if you tell me I'm gonna do podcast with you, I'm gonna be surprised. Like I couldn't speak English properly that time, and everyone in the class, like everyone taking the, like bullying and everything, making joke out of it. So yeah, it's a long journey, and only thing like kept me going is like I always knew something better is gonna come, and just holding to it. And
Yeah,
right
you had
now,
that vision.
yeah. And I think is the most important is like who you hang around. If you
Hmm.
hang around with the like wrong people, then your mindset is going to be same. Like I said, like I'd never thought about it. Like there is no other option than like being a restaurant owner, because all of my families they only work in a restaurant, or they own a restaurant, or they're taxi drivers. So from there, if you want to get financial advice, this is the right thing to do. But here I am from my dad by age of 10 and 11. He told me there is so many different ways to do business and everything, and you don't really need big money. But as soon as I come to the group of people, and there's like there is no way you can do that, and I accepted it, because probably because I came from a lots of trauma and everything, because everything I lost my family, I lived alone, and new environment. I've been bullying in the college and everything because of my English. Then I lost my self confidence.
Yeah,
So if you lose your self confidence, there you're losing your self identity.
I
Like you
agree.
doubt yourself. You don't think like you can move ahead and do something different.
You're right.
So that's why I got distracted. That's why wherever everyone said, I believed in it. Now I can be like, I can do anything. Now, even though I can't do it, like, yeah, I can learn and I can do it. And anything is possible. Even though, like with my son, everything's going on. What's doctor going to say to me? I'll do all Google research. I'm learning the books. I'm learning, following some doctors on YouTube. Was how brain works, how my son can improve, what kind of things I can help him with. Even though before my wife was pregnant, I was learning what pregnancy is like, what can I be a good father, like what's my role involved. And yeah, these things. And I was like, no, I'm curious. I want to learn everything. And when people says, oh, that's not possible, I was like, yeah, I want to know why. Explain to me. Right now it's like a why. Before I was like, oh, I agreed. But right now it's like, why? Explain. Some people can explain and some people have no clue what they're doing. They probably failed on the thing you wanted to do. That's like they're saying, oh, you can't do it. But I think is asking them question is most important. Then you're gonna realize like you're finding the identity. Yeah,
Agreed completely. And keeps up the curiosity. And I
yeah,
love that you are always wanting to learn.
yeah,
That's what's
definitely.
going to keep you growing. I mean, it's either grow or disintegrate, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the only options. We got the polarity working on us in that regard. So, yeah, I love it.
Yeah, so this is the situation has been happening. So do you find like a same pattern like with my life, with your clients, that they go through like the same process? Do you think they doubt themselves and that's why they're losing their identity?
There's a lot of doubt and shame, fear, unworthiness, unloved, unappreciated, unaccepted.
Mm,
And that even with the bully thing, that's the unaccepted side of it.
yeah,
But the thing is, when people internalize that and keep telling themselves that that's their truth,
yeah,
it's going to show up in their life.
definitely.
But the idea and the work comes in where
Yeah,
we shift that, even if it's just a 5-degree difference.
yeah.
If we can get to the 180-degree difference, then great. But it depends on how ingrained that lie is in the mind.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's what the importance of, in my opinion, understanding the
Mm,
conscious and the subconscious mind and how they work together and then take it out in the body and move it into action.
Yeah.
And then even with what I do with my 8-week coaching program is teach people the different laws,
Right.
like the laws of the universe, the laws of God, how they work. Because here's the thing, kind of like the law of gravity.
Yeah.
Now that we know it's here, now that we know it exists,
I
we
know.
know certain boundaries that we can and cannot do with it. So
Definitely.
that's like installing the laws within your life.
Yeah.
They provide so much freedom for you to actually work with them instead of working against them unknowingly and
Mm.
getting continually beat up by that proverbial brick wall that you keep running into. But it's like, I've been working so hard. Why do I keep running into this brick wall?
Yeah.
Well, let's get to the core of it. First of
Yeah.
all, what lies have been told to you, and what are you keep telling yourself?
Agreed.
Work on that first, and then it's shifting all of that. And I even get into the personalities with the Enneagram. I touch on so many different aspects to help that person understand who
Mm.
they are at their core, regardless of the people around them. So, yeah, what you have gone through is very similar in the core of what it is. You
Yeah.
know, action wise, different stories are a little different, but the
Yeah, it's
core of
everyone
it.
different depending on the situation and the age frame. Because what I realize if someone's discovering themselves because age 40 and 50, it's different way they have to decide like, oh, what career I'm gonna go in, what I want to do with my life. It's not easy because someone's already got their lifestyle. So let's say like someone discovered, oh, I'm a business person and right now I'm 40 and my monthly payment is living cost is $8,000 a month and my salary is at $10,000 a month. So you can't just go and start a new business straight away because you have to think about my children, their education, their college education, healthcare, and a lot of aspect of it. And is the risk is worth the take? So some people can jump on it. Some people are like crazy. They're gonna go and do it, but not everyone like that. It's not like there is uncertainty like you're gonna make it or not. There's the unknown, and also like you don't know yourself how good are you on the business. There is a self-doubt as well.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to self-discovery as well. Like
Mm-hmm.
I think like people can still do it. Like don't live it like who you are at the moment. Even though some people are see like they're doctor and they're not happy with their life and career. They've probably gone into being a doctor because of family pressure or like uh, there's a society like they respect you more being a doctor, but this is not something who they want to be. I found one of the guy on a real estate investing program, and he was a doctor and he was a brain surgeon or something, and he's earning good money in UK. And I asked him like, why you wants to be in property investing? You just want to invest your money, how much make you wherever you put on the side or something. He's like, no, it's not about that. I just want to start this business and get out of it being a doctor. I was like, why? What's wrong? He's like about 45 and 47 years old. Like, no, I'm not enjoying it. It's like the hours, 70, 80 hours, and this is not something I wanted to be. And he just realized it. But it's like, but my lifestyle right now, being a doctor, is my mortgage payment is high. My lifestyle is high. I have 3 children. And even though if I quit, people around me, everyone's gonna laugh. They're not gonna take me as easy. So I have to show them like, yeah, I made it through some kind of bigger business. So this is my $1 million business and I'm earning 250,000 a year, something like that. So now people are gonna understand it, like why I quit. So yeah, like I said, for people have to be in this situation, they have to find out who they are, but the change is not gonna be overnight. They have to evaluate themselves, like why they're making the change. And the steps need to be like slowly. Like I started the takeaway business and I didn't quit and jump into my online business where I love most. I did it in the nighttime. I slept less. So I slept about 3, 4 hours a day. And then rest, I was grinding for 3, 4 years before I see any profit or like gone full time into it. So it wasn't like overnight. I just sold my business and gone into my new venture. I didn't do that. So I knew like who I wanted to be that time, but I didn't go into overnight. even though starting the podcast, I knew like I wanted to do that in future, but I didn't do it when I wanted to do it, like when I started my online business and marketing that time, because I don't want to be like too many things going on at the same time. So I think you have to understand the process, take time, and know who you are and when is the right time to take the action, and start testing out small things and find out who you really want to be and who you want to be passionate. Sometimes when you think about it, like I want to be this, like a dancer or being a footballer or baseball player, when you actually play, you realize, oh no, this is not something. I played, I wanted to be a cricketer and played uh, like here and there in back home. And then in here, just played for a day. I just realized I'm not passionate about it. This is not something I'm gonna play. I like a batting, but when it's come to fielding and doing other aspect of it, I'm not enjoying none of them. So what's the point of me doing it? Then I found out I'm passionate about playing badminton. So I stick with that. So it works for me. So you have to play things and try different things to find out like what is for you and what God given the gift on the particular thing. So that way I think it's finding yourself like who you wants to be.
Yeah. And it's
What's your
finding
opinion?
the balance too. There's so much that goes into it. That's why it's not an overnight thing. But that's also
Yeah.
why I teach the core, the basics. So you have this long after we're together, you know?
Mm.
So it's
So with your like a 8 weeks program, do you think they change their mindset and they find out who they are with this program, or do you think they need extra time, like another 6 months or 12 months, or some people different?
everybody's different because everyone starts at a different place.
Yeah.
However, most of them have the aha moments,
Mm.
the click into gear,
Yeah.
if you will, during the program.
Yeah.
Now we do have an after, like a mastery course, if you will,
Yeah.
that they can hang in, you know, and be around us and still get the support and the camaraderie. But most people get what they need in the
Mm.
8 weeks. Because again, you have those tools that you can use on your own
Yeah.
long after. And if you need to come back in the fold, then come back in. It's not a one and done
Yeah.
type thing like, oh, nope, sorry, you're gone forever.
Yeah.
No, it's a
Yeah, it's the
always an open
process.
invitation.
Yeah.
Yeah, because here's the thing. What if I've had some people who level up within the 8 weeks, or maybe even 2 levels up, whatever their goal is.
Yeah.
And some people don't need it again because they're met their life goal, good to, you know, they're
Yeah.
satisfied. Others get a taste of it and they're like, okay, I'm ready to level up again and again and again and again.
Yeah.
So it's like now that they've gotten a taste of what it's like to actually achieve that one level of goal.
They wants to get for second one.
Yeah.
It's like a
Because they're,
snowball effect, isn't it?
yeah,
Slowly
because
they
they can
go.
actually dream bigger.
Yeah.
They see their purpose. They've gotten rid of the core issues that are holding them back.
Yeah.
They've released a lot of that stuff. They've completely shifted their mindset.
Mm.
Even if it is a 1 degree or 5 degree shift, right? Because even if you're driving down the road and you're a degree off on your journey, you're going to be in a completely different place.
Yeah, definitely.
Much less if you do a 180 turn. You know, but either degree is
Yeah.
beneficial.
Yeah. It's adding to it. Definitely.
Yeah. And it all starts in the mind too. Like, oh my
Mm.
goodness. It's intriguing to watch people's success rate increase.
Yeah.
By working with the mind and actually getting rid of that, I call it head trash.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting. So, like, after they go through your program, do they have like any kind of action they need to take, or you're going to be accountable for their action?
Yeah. Well, we definitely have action steps during the 8 weeks, that's for
Yeah.
sure. But then the mastery program, they can have me as keeping
Yeah.
them accountable. But some of them might not need that particular support as accountability
Yeah.
because they've established it within themselves too. Because they've gotten rid of those core fears, they've gotten rid of that shame, that junk that was holding them back, and they actually see a path.
Yeah.
So that's not like you need someone to shine the light and get rid of the weeds in front of you, because you can actually pluck the weeds up as you're walking after you understand all these different laws and understand you from the Enneagram perspective. And again, get down to those emotional cores with the meditations and stuff to knock it out.
Yeah.
Like there's not as many, this is a decent analogy. A lot of times at the beginning of this 8-week program, people are so confused because they can't even see the scene would be. They can't see the forest through the trees.
Yeah.
They can't see where they are because they're in the thick of it.
Yeah.
But with these tools, it allows them to start. So we're going to pluck up the weeds. We're going to get rid of them, even spray some Roundup on them, pull them up by hand, whatever needs to happen. They're not going to exist as much. So when they're doing this on their own, there's not as much stuff in their way. There's not as many weeds to trip on.
So they know who they are and find their true potential through that.
Yes.
You actually see like there is a green when you weed out everything. There's a nice grass underneath it. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. Yeah, everyone, I think they should slow down and think who they are. That's really important because right now is I hear and see on Google search, like people are searching for happiness. And 90% of the time it comes from like a career wise. They're not happy with the career, leads to like a different problem with the aspect. Like you're not growing in your career because like you chose a wrong path. Then that leads to your family. That's why you argue with your wife, your kids are not happy, your spiritual relationship is not happy, if you believe in God or not. So, and even though yourself, the health is not there, right? Because you're constantly worrying about like, that next day I'll have to go job and things like that. And yeah, lots of anxiety, depression, everything leads to like the same thing, like not finding out who you are. And this is why I think everyone needs to like slow down and find it where like yourself or myself, we both witnessed that like this God had better plan for us. Like it opens up when you slow down and ask it that question, then there's a plenty of doors start opening up, like which one didn't exist at the first place. And then you knock on every single door and see which one is right for you, where it leads to the destination you want it to be. That's really important. Like not choosing like a one thing at the start, do something for 2-3 months, 6 months, give it a go, and then you find out, is there something really wanted to do? Go and get at it. Is there something you do, like tell them like I do multiple things, or just focus on one thing?
We dig deep first, and it depends on how big the goal is and how much time they have. Because if someone needs to keep their 9 to 5, like you were referring to the physician, let's say he had several things that he wanted to work on, but because he's already working 80-90 hours a week on top of the 3 kids, on top of investing in real estate, that's a lot to take on. It's a lot to take on, like 3 more goals, 3 more things. And I even teach how to create a goal too. So many people are just like, oh, I want to lose 20 pounds. That's my goal. But then they let anything deter them. It's like, no. So work on that in the program too. But I go back to this physician. If someone has so much on their plate that they can't focus on their end goal, this purpose, their exit out, their freedom, maybe that's what they're wanting. We're going to focus on the one big thing instead of all these squirrels, if you will, that distract us.
Yeah, totally agree on that.
Yeah. So again, that's a individual basis. So it depends on how much time
Yeah,
versus someone that,
everyone's going to be different.
yeah.
Some people are going to take it fast, some people are going to take time and process everything. And depending what the circumstances are, like you said, like there is different age level wise, career wise. Yeah, they need to evaluate. So those are listeners, like if you want to simplify it, like we're going to wrap up soon. So if you want to simplify it, like identity design, where they can start, if you want to simplify it for them.
One exercise I like to give, so this will be a fun thing for the listeners to
Yeah.
do physically, like tangibly do this activity. Think about what they love to do as a kid,
Mm,
because this is going to help you find your passion. So here's an idea. Let's say you loved playing with building blocks.
yeah.
In the States, we call them Legos.
Yeah.
So perhaps you were that type of kid and you just always wanted to be building something, tearing something down. Da, 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 da. Maybe you have more of a processing mind. Maybe your passion has something to do with that. Maybe it's like an engineering type thing.
Mm,
Maybe you were the kid that was always coloring. You were always, being crafty. Even with,
yeah.
I don't know, dirt, rocks, grass, you were crafty with it. So we're
Yeah.
going to follow that passion and get to the core of why you were creating things out of literally things in the yard, grass and rocks.
Yeah.
So the core of who you are in regards to that, or let's say you were always into sports. You were very athletic as a kid and you're like, well, but I'm not a professional ball player. What do I do with that? Let's look at the core of what the sports were to you. Maybe it created this phenomenal teammate in you. Maybe it created this ability for you to see that there is the losing side and winning side, and
Yeah.
that in the law of rhythm, you're going to have both. So it's going to ebb and flow to both sides. So maybe you would be great at sales in regards to knowing that there's both sides.
Yeah.
So I help them. So not only do we work on that exercise, but that's something that you guys can do right now. Is just ponder, what did I like to do as a kid? And
Yeah.
don't stop when your brain just says, oh, I like to bake. But why did you like to bake? Did you like to bake because you loved the faces and the smiles when people ate your cookies? Or did you like the measuring aspect of it? Maybe you're
Yeah.
more specific on that side of things. Maybe you're wanting to get into like,
Yeah. Keep on asking the question and finding more depth into it. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's like digging deeper. This is not just a willy-nilly, oh, I was good at,
Yeah.
Legos. Why was I good at Legos? Because I don't know many professional Lego builders, but I do know engineers.
There are few people, I think.
Yeah.
They have like YouTube channel. Yeah, they're making
Nice.
living out of it. Yeah. So some people are just play with kids with the Lego and just making millions out of it. So there is a profession now. You can just talk about Legos. You
Hey.
just review. One guy I saw he just reviewed Nerf gun, the plastic gun, and that's it. He's making living out of it. I think like 2 million subscriber he already got, and all of them sponsorship and everything. So yeah, right now we can talk about anything, sports cards, like you said, if you being athlete and things like that. Even though you can't play professionally, still you can do reviews and you can
Yeah.
talk about on YouTube or do your
Yeah.
blog. There's plenty of way right now, even though TikTok has become most popular. Create small TikTok videos and sell shirt, like a sport shirt, like
Mm-hmm.
equipment. There's plenty of way, yeah. The more
See, so
questions
it's
they're
like
gonna
once
ask,
you get that
yeah,
creative mind going,
yeah,
it's just
there's
like
there's a
all
way.
these ideas. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And it's getting rid of that core concern issue
Mm,
that's holding you back from doing that.
definitely. Yeah.
Because there's so much head trash saying, oh, you could never do that. That's a crazy idea. Who
Yeah.
are you
Yeah.
think you are doing that?
Mhm.
You have no responsibility doing that. You have no, all the trash, right?
I know. You have to be in a self. You have to be quiet. Like put the headphones in Like you're listening to them, just go over the head. This is why I started when I started with my career at the beginning. I'm listening to them. I'm not listening to them. I'm just listening
Yes.
to my inner voice, what's coming from my inside. So I
Yeah.
know, like even the friends, family, whoever they never done, they never built, they're not gonna trust on it. And if you don't trust your own self, how other person gonna trust you? Because
Exactly.
if you couldn't figure out your own strength, how someone else gonna know like what strength you have? So yeah, ignore the noise and just follow your heart and keep on asking, like you mentioned. Keep on asking them questions and go deep into it and finding out. Take your time and write it down. Everything was comes in ahead. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. And it's understanding the mind and how it really works. It's
Yeah.
fascinating. But I teach it in a way that a kiddo can understand it. You know,
Yeah.
you don't need a
Yeah.
degree to understand it by any means, but it makes such a difference. Like
Yeah.
even health wise for me, it was all mindset. Once I shifted it, my health started to recover.
Mm,
Businesses recover. Like it's phenomenal, fascinating, all of the words. It's just
yeah.
amazing
Yeah.
to
That's
see it
great.
not only play out in your life, but watch others
Yeah.
succeed from it. Beautiful.
Definitely. Yeah. Definitely. This is the whole purpose for us to keep on doing that,
Hmm.
inspiring others and see their results. And yeah, keep moving. So if anyone wants to work with you, Jessica, how they can find you? So those who
Yeah.
listeners, yeah,
Yeah. Simply on basically all the social media platforms. Facebook is an easy one. It's Jessica
yeah,
Crow Pilgrim. And I believe you do have my link. And I'm
yeah.
on LinkedIn often. So it's a simple message. I am simple message away.
One
Oh, and then
message
the
away, changing your
email.
life. Yeah,
I know, right? Oh
yeah.
my gosh. It's so impactful. And
Nowadays
then,
everything's so available. Touch of a button.
yes,
All the internet made it simple.
yes. But the fun thing is, fun might not be the correct word, the easier path for the listeners. I've already done all of this. I'm going
Mm,
to save you basically, for me, I've been in it for 15 years. I'm going to save you a chunk of time, whatever that chunk is, for you not having to go through this on your own,
yeah,
for you not having to discover it the hard way. That's what people love is that chunk of time saving because that's the one thing we can't get back.
yeah,
So yeah,
definitely.
um,
Time is most valuable asset in the world.
it is.
Yeah,
And then lastly, email is super easy. It's
yeah.
just Jessica. So JESSICA at boldllc.net. So BOLDLLC.net.
All right, guys, go check out Jessica on social media, and you can email her to if you want to work with her and get some consultation as well. So, Jessica, we're going to wrap this up. So, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge, your experiences with our guest. I really, really appreciate it. I know you have a busy schedule, so I can't thank enough. So
Oh,
thank you for
thank
coming.
you. Yes, absolutely. My pleasure.
Yeah, you're most welcome. So, all right, guys, this is a wrap. I'm going to see you on the next episode. So, stay healthy, stay safe. I'll talk to you next episode. Thank you.